Alright dudes, today we are checking out a legendary channel. A legendary channel that's a little bit different from what we have checked out before, but I think it was only a matter of time. Today people, we are checking out Casually Explained.
If you're looking for the answers to life's questions and Wikipedia was under scheduled maintenance, look no further. Casually Explained is here to help.
I don't think that's how his voice sounds, but I have no idea what he sounds like, so that was the best I could do. Casually Explained, so the title is pretty simple, it's self-explanatory. Casually Explained is a channel that gives you the rundown on life. If you want to learn about a topic in the most casually explained way possible, the channel I would personally recommend is Casually Explained. Casually Explained has videos on so many different topics, so I am really excited to see all of the crazy possibilities.
Casually Explained. Levels of wealth.
These videos are pretty short, so we'll be able to get through a few of these. We're gonna pick whatever topics we think are the most interesting, watch a few of these, give our review, see what we think. But I guess we're starting with money. Okay, that's cool. Here we go. This is gonna be my first impression of Casually Explained, people. So let's see what we think, people. 3, 2, 1. Go.
When we think of money, it's usually in terms of what things we can buy with it. But your level of wealth doesn't only determine what you own, it can determine entirely what your life looks like. And I wanted to give a bit of an overview of what that could look like at some different intervals.
Okay.
Now, at the bottom of the pyramid, of course, we have the low life who mooch off public services because they can't pay their debts or find a job.
Okay.
Grad students.
Okay.
Disgusting. Next, we have the working and middle class, which makes up about 90% of the population. Even though it might seem like they can't accomplish much compared to the elites of society, members of the middle class can work together to become much more powerful. As an example, with one roommate they can afford rent, but with two they can afford furniture.
True.
The middle class earns up to $300,000 a year, but the median individual income is a lot more modest at $38,000.
300 is $299,000 a year still considered middle class? I mean, I guess upper middle class. Also, kind of interesting that he talked about grad students rather than homeless people, because it takes a lot of money to go to grad school. I mean, if you're in grad school, a lot of people are like getting by, are like struggling with money because of how expensive grad school is, but to even get to grad school, that costs a lot of money. But anyways, this is Casually Explained. I'm gonna let him explain it. This isn't my time for opinions.
The middle class earns up to $300,000 a year, but the median individual income is a lot more modest at $38,000. This can be pretty misleading though, because if you're 50 with a wife and 2 kids, $38K a year is pretty rough. But if you're 21 and single, you're buying resale Yeezys.
True.
So in conjunction, I think there are a couple lifestyle indicators to check to see if you're in the middle class, such as your grandparents had 5 kids, your parents had 3 kids, and you're gonna put a stop to it once and for all. And you don't have an emergency fund because you figure that if you're on vacation, your appendix gives out, why would you spend $20K on surgery when you could just die?
Oh my gosh.
So moving beyond the middle class, we get to the start of your truly wealthy people. These are the notorious 1% who typically have an individual income of $300,000 or higher or a net worth of over $8 million. Usually this means you have more than one home, active investments, travel whenever you want, and basically have the best of everything short of private jets and a Battlefront 2 season pass. But in the same way someone in the arts might wave their fist at an accomplished engineer, there's a huge difference between people within the 1%. As an example, if you're worth $75 million, you have the ability to see almost anyone in the world just by asking. But if you're worth $75 billion, you have the ability to see almost anyone in the world without asking.
What on earth? What on earth? That... without asking. 75 billion. I mean, you ask by giving them millions of dollars. Maybe you don't need to open your mouth, but that money has to do something. If you get $75 billion, you can't just suddenly phase through walls and look at anyone you want.
I am beyond your comprehension.
The money has to do some talking still. I guess if someone had $75 million and they asked to see me, they could probably do, I mean, they'd have to give me money though. Like, you still have to do something with that money. There's a lot of lame people with $75 million who I don't want to talk to, you know what I mean? And $75 billion, you know? But I guess.
Once you're worth over $100 million, people use your first and last name when they talk about you. And if you're not famous, you at least have a Wikipedia page that you didn't make yourself. You likely make up to $10 million a year, which to compare with a more normal income is like going to Costco and paying $1.50 for a hot dog, but getting 100 hot dogs.
Okay.
I don't know why I left that in. At this point, your wealth is almost magnetic to more wealth, and ironically, things start costing less. I could pay $5,000 for a Gucci suit, and people might think I'm cool, but if I were actually cool, Gucci would have paid me to wear it. While it sounds pretty great, you might start to wonder if people like you for you or only like you because you're rich and famous.
True, that's the most annoying thing ever, isn't it? When rich people get given free stuff. Is that not the most annoying thing ever? I remember watching, it was like the Ellen DeGeneres show, and she was like backstage at the Grammys, and they were just giving, I'm talking like 15 years ago, so this made an impression on me. There was like an iPod booth, and there's just like, oh yeah, you can just take the iPods. Oh yeah, you can just take the watches. Like, what? She can buy this stuff so easily. Why does she get it for free? You know? Now, as literally as like a professional entertainer, I understand that the reason for it is so that they can potentially advertise it using their platform. But like, still, is that just not the most annoying, infuriating thing ever?
Fortunately though, you are rich and famous. So finally, at the very top of the pyramid, we have the people worth over $1 billion, the 0.001%. Guys like Elon, Jeff, Branson, and Bill. These people have so much money, they can literally change the world. Save the kids? Done. Create your own space program? Done. Dinner with the president? You are the president. You don't fly business, you buy the business. When you get pet supplies from Amazon, you mean the rainforest. And when you say, hey babe, how about I drive this time? You're talking to the car. If you look at the absolute top, Jeff Bezos recently overtook Bill Gates, and to be as rich as the two of them, you would have to earn about $5,000 every minute you were alive. They even said themselves, I don't think I could even spend the money if I tried.
Yeah.
Amateurs. Now, with the pyramid capped off, if we step back, it does seem like the implication here is that your life gets better the more money you have, which brings about the age-old question of, does money buy you happiness? And from what I've looked at, I think the best explanation is that money won't buy you happiness, but it can make problems go away that make you unhappy.
I agree. I will let him give his thoughts on that, but I will say, oh my goodness, the number of people who think that just like, if you just have a bunch of money, problems just are no longer a thing. That is the most absurd thing ever. So me personally, I don't need much. I'm not someone who like, for years now, I've had enough money to get the things that I want and need, right? Which again, isn't much. The most expensive thing I buy is like a nice guitar, you know? I don't personally drive a car even, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care too much. So like, I've had enough money for a while to where I don't need to like worry about it, but it's like, it doesn't solve the problems I have in my life. My problems in my life are like mental health, you know, like relationships, physical health, you know? It's like, these are things that it doesn't matter how much money you have. Like, everyone still deals with issues. And yes, if I was like struggling with money and I like was struggling to get by, that would be a whole other layer of stress. So I completely understand that. So what I've heard before is that like money can make you happier up until the point where yes, you are comfortable and okay, you know? If you are impoverished and you are struggling, then yes, it can affect your happiness, but it doesn't take too much financial freedom for it to no longer affect your happiness. And that's my experience personally.
Does money buy you happiness? And from what I've looked at, I think the best explanation is that money won't buy you happiness, but it can make problems go away that make you unhappy. Like when you go to take money out of your bank account and get charged a fee because there's no money in your bank account. When you buy tickets online, you have to pay extra for doing all the work yourself. With
Still
that said,
annoying.
I wanted to end it at that point, but I showed my friend and she said, is that it? Is it just first world countries? What about the rest of the world?
Yeah,
and,
dude.
You know, like they say, you can't make your sneakers and wear them too. The good news is that my demographics show that there aren't many people in third world countries watching my videos. They don't have internet. So we'll worry about that another time.
This dude. All right, at least he's honest. I mean, personally, I care deeply about people from every country who watch my stuff. And I think it's also very important to not be the type of person who pretends that America is the whole world, because it most definitely is not. In fact, it is literally like 5% of the world. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that he did not touch on, but he just explained it casually. What can we say? What more can we ask for? He casually explained it. But that was fun. I actually really enjoyed that. I'm excited to keep going. Casually explained the English language. 10 mil views on this one. Honestly, I'ma keep it real. I feel very sorry. To anyone who English is not their first language, I am very sorry.
Because man, this stuff is complicated. complicated. I don't know exactly what he's gonna touch on in this video, but I know for sure that, yeah, English, we keep making up new stuff. I just said, I'ma keep it real. 50 years ago, no one had any idea what that meant.
We keep making stuff up. Anyways, sorry. Let him start this one off, and then I'll chime in, okay? Casually explained the English language. Let's go, people. 3, 2, 1. Arrivé.
While most people in the world are forced to learn English if they ever want to leave their country for an international career, English speakers routinely visit other countries for leisure, not learn the language, and then get mad when no one understands them. English is such an influential language, in fact, that most people from English-speaking countries never even consider learning a second language to fluency. If we look at a map of Europe, we can see that the average person in Sweden or Norway knows 2.5 languages, Germany 2, the UK is trailing with 1.6, and America is still figuring out what a kilometer is. One redeeming factoid that I've heard quite frequently from English-speaking people is that English is one of the hardest languages to learn, which isn't true. While I know that they just want to feel good about themselves, they should know by now that no one is allowed to feel good about themselves on my watch, especially myself. In reality, how hard a language is to learn is actually only really related to how similar it is to the language you already know. So for an English speaker, it usually takes about 600 hours of dedicated study and practice to reach conversational fluency in any of the Romance or Scandinavian languages, then around twice as long for Greek, Hebrew, or Slavic languages, then around twice as long as that again for Arabic, Japanese, Korean, Assembly, or Mandarin.
Oh yeah. Well, so guys, okay, so here's the thing. As a Canadian, I had to learn some French in school. I've also done some Duolingo Spanish. Currently, I'm doing Duolingo Japanese. Yeah, when you get rid of letters, changes the game. Completely changes the game. Watashi no Nihongo wa totemo heta desu. And I'm 182 days into it. It's tough. I really should have just done Spanish. I'd be so competent by now.
So if you're learning English and speak any of those languages, then pretty much the reverse applies. What is true, though, is that English has quite a few quirks that make it easier to learn than other languages in some ways, and quirks that make it way harder as well. One of the best features of English is that we don't have masculine, feminine, or neutral. We just have the definite article, the. The table, the refrigerator, and there are no regular nouns with gender, making English the ultimate safe space language. The downside, however, is that while I was trying to learn French, I would say, j'aime le chocolat. And people would say, le chocolat, le. The North Americans are so stupid.
That's
that
so
would hurt my feelings
stupid.
because I was trying my best. But when anyone is learning English as a second language and they say, the chocolate, and then I say, the chocolate, and they're like, the chocolate. And I always think, not so easy now, is it, baguette boy? This is why you haven't been a world superpower for 300 years. What I'm trying to say is that while English nouns have no gender, the definite article the is a nightmare for most trying to learn it because one of the most difficult sounds to pronounce in English is the TH sound, th.
Really? I never think of that at all. That's so interesting how different languages in different parts of the world don't have certain sounds. Like, as I'm learning Japanese, I'm realizing the letters that they don't use. Like, yeah, there's no the. It's like tato, de, do, da, da, do, da, da. Like, there's no the. There's no the, they, the. It would be do, bo, ga, do, lo, you know what I mean? It's interesting.
Difficult sounds to pronounce in English is the TH sound, th. I mean, not for me, I nailed it, but for non-English speaking people, who usually replace it with a Z, D, or an F. And if you've ever talked to someone learning English, you'll notice that one of the hardest words to pronounce is squirrel. Again,
squirrel,
not for me, it's really just home run after home run. But if you're really looking to knock someone international down a few pegs, here's a few things that can be extremely hard to say even for English speakers, so when I put it on the screen, we can all try to say it at the same time. Anemone.
Anemone.
3,000.
3,000ths.
Rural brewery.
Rural brewery.
Thanks, guys. I need it.
It's hard. It takes me a while. I'm sorry. Honestly, some of the people these days, it seems like it is a struggle for them. I'm just kidding, guys. Don't tell someone I love you the first day you meet them, okay? Be careful out there. Yeah, those are tough. I feel you. I remember, I think it was, I remember watching this clip of PewDiePie back in the day where he couldn't say ninja. He would say ninja. He was Swedish. So I guess they don't do juz there. It's so bizarre to me. Like, cause in my lifelong Canadian Canadian brain. It's like, just make the sound, bro. Just make the sound, J. Like, how can you not make the J sound? But it's like, I mean, I've been doing it since I was 3 years old. So I guess, like, I have no concept of how it could be a difficult thing to learn. But I remember I was listening to Panda by Designer, and I taught myself how to do in like literally one day. So if I can do that, then y'all can get the J. I'm just kidding. Take your time.
Thanks, guys. I needed that. Additionally, in comparison to Romance languages, pronunciation in English isn't always consistent phonetically. As an example, in French you have bon, son, pon, fon. But if you try that in English, you get hat, rat, chat, wat. So you just doesn't
What did you just, wait, what did you just say? What did you just say?
That in English you get hat, rat, chat, wat.
What? No, I think that says what, brother? Oh, he's saying that it's wrong. Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay, I'm with you.
See, it just doesn't work. I mean, if you come across a word you haven't seen in English before, it's sometimes impossible to know how it's pronounced.
True.
Take these, for example. Though, through, thought, tough, cough, plow, and sometimes you even have hiccups. Not me, though, obviously. I never choke.
It is hard.
He was like, English isn't one of the hardest.
Like, dude, that's really confusing. That's extremely confusing. That sounds like a nightmare.
Within English, there are also many dialects of the same language. For example, while American English is mostly removing redundancies in spelling and saying eggplant instead of aubergine or niche instead of niche, again, basically anything that takes more power away from the French, British English removes a lot of redundancies from entire words. As an example, in American English, you would say, I have to go down the elevator and get a ride so I can go and work out. But in British English, you just say, I have to take the lift so I can get a lift so I can go and lift.
This dude. I lived in England for 6 months, and so I can touch on this. He's so right. The biggest thing that I would say is literally on the same topic. Rather than in the UK, rather than saying, would you like to go to the gym? They say, want to go gym. Not to the, that's not, to me, that's not a proper sentence. Want to go gym. That's not a sentence. That's not a sentence. Finish this, bro, finish the sentence. We got time. I'm good. Say all the words, you know? Or yeah, it's like they get rid of like to the and with the, or you know what I mean? And then I will say the other thing I couldn't stand is that they call bathrooms or washrooms, they call them just toilets. When it's like I'm going to the toilets, it's like, why do you need to say that? What if you just want to wash your hands? Do you really want to tell someone, hey, I'm gonna go to the toilet if you're just gonna wash your hands? In the UK, I guess they don't care. They're like, well, everyone does it. It's like, okay, cool, but I'd rather chill.
And then in Australian English, they just completely change entire sentences in the most internationally destructive way possible. As an example, in Australian English, you would say, oi, don't you love it when a good wearing a hot pair of shorts? Well, most North Americans would say, oh my goodness gracious, Rachel, get the Bible. What that actually translates to in American English is, hey, don't you love it when your friend is wearing a cool pair of flip-flops?
Okay.
Ultimately, though, every English accent has its advantages and disadvantages. Jamaicans sound cool, but I can't understand them. South Africans sound cool, but I can't understand them. People from Scotland and Wales sound cool, but I'm pretty sure they aren't speaking English. And then people from America sound less cool the higher their neighborhood GDP. Even for me, I have possibly the most generic Pacific Northwest accent imaginable, meaning that I am never allowed to rap. And while that means I am unable to live up to my true potential, the upside is I can do this. Hey Siri, okay Google, subscribe to Casually Explained. If that didn't work, you're lucky you're wearing headphones, because next time you have them out for 20 seconds, I'm texting your mom. I am just kidding, of course. I can already do that from my phone.
This dude. More like savagely explained, am I right? Savagely explained. And hey, let's take this moment real quick. Guys, if you are watching this video, if you're digging this and you're not subscribed to Casually Explained, I'm gonna subscribe right now. I will also boop like on this video. Guys, it's your time. If you are full screened right now, if you could unfull screen and do the same for me, I would really appreciate that. And I'm going to put Casually Explained's link at the end of this video and in the description. So if you are liking this, make sure you're subscribed to them. But yeah, if while you're out of full screen, you could help support our channel here. We work really hard on these videos as well. Yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you, let's all just like each other's stuff, okay? That would be cool and nice and fun. Okay, I think this next one is gonna be really stupid, and I'm really excited about it. Because I also know a remarkable amount of information about this topic, and you might not be able to tell by looking at me right now, but...
Casually Explained, lifted.
Do you lift, bro? Well, I just started again after 2 months of being very sick and losing 25 pounds. So I don't look like I lift right now, but typically I do. Anyways, that doesn't matter. This looks really stupid. I'm really excited. Are you excited? Because I am. Okay, let's go. People, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go.
Lifting isn't just a hobby, it's a journey. And that journey often begins with feelings of inadequacy and ends with feelings of inadequacy, but now you can't wear jeans and you sink in pools. Frankly, a lot of guys think they're going to be more attractive to women, but it turns out the only people you end up impressing are other bros who also enjoy looking at half-naked guys on bodybuilding.com. Nevertheless, if you want to get started, it's important to start off right, and I'm going to tell you the 3 steps to success.
Okay. Well, first of all, bro, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. If you're gonna act like you know all the stuff, let's see what you got.
Show me what you got.
You can't explain lifting to the world if you ain't got anything to show. I don't know if I've got, I've got like, I don't have a whole lot to show the world right now, which is why I'm not making a video on lifting. But listen, I'm just saying, if you're trying to go guru on us, do you even lift?
The first step is obviously to make an Instagram account. Now, the second step is your actual routine, but before you make one, you need to be aware of the standard rep range guidelines for different goals.
8 to 12.
If you're going for strength and size, up to 8 reps per set. If you're going for mostly size, 8 to 12 reps per set.
Yep.
And for endurance, go for 14 or more reps per set. Now, you might be wondering, what about 13 reps per set? And this is really the holy grail of lifting and what we call the tone zone. Be careful though, because one time my sister miscounted her reps and accidentally became a 5-time Mr. Olympia champion in California. Thankfully, she did 15 minutes on the elliptical and is back to normal now.
Okay, I will touch on that super quickly. A lot of young girls and young women are afraid to go to the gym and are afraid to work their muscles because they think they're gonna accidentally get like too big or get a bunch of get big muscles. Just so you know, that's never gonna happen. Nobody accidentally becomes muscular. It's really hard. Lifting weights is good for you no matter who you are. So if you are a girl and you are considering going to the gym, but you don't want to work your muscles because no, I can't accidentally become a bodybuilder. It won't happen, okay? You won't do pull-ups and then magically think you look like Arnold, okay? It's not gonna happen. Please, just take care of your body and do all the important stuff.
But anyway, another important thing is to constantly expose your muscles to new stimulus, which is called muscle confusion. For example, legendary bodybuilder Dorian Yates used to confuse his muscles by altering rep and weight schemes, whereas I personally prefer murder mysteries, but whatever works for you. So now that you've got a better idea of how to structure your routine, you need to get all the other stuff right too. I did 2 cycles of starting strength, and now that I'm an expert, I'd say you definitely need the following if you want to be a powerlifter. The first thing is some chalk. You should put some of this on your hands to help your grip, but put most of it on the gym floor and surrounding equipment.
Oh no, stop, please.
Some weightlifting shoes. These are great for making you taller. A weightlifting belt. This is how people can tell you're a powerlifter, not just a regular fat guy. Lastly, never talk to anyone, and make sure to always wear a loose hoodie to hide your power level.
Yeah. Powerlifter is for very specific groups of people. So to anyone who doesn't understand, powerlifting is when your sole goal is to lift as much weight as possible, typically for like 1 rep or like 1 to 3 reps. Powerlifters are the people who are like, I am going to lift 800 pounds 1 time. That's not good for health. The only reason you should powerlift is if you genuinely have a crazy passion for getting the highest number possible. Powerlifting, I don't recommend to any person on the planet for health purposes. It is not the healthy thing to do. Bodybuilding is considerably healthier, but if you go insane with it, then you can do unhealthy things. But what he's about to describe, hopefully, if he doesn't go too goofy with it, hopefully this does have some like healthy merit to it.
Okay, but let's say you want to be a bodybuilder, so here are some of my pieces of anecdotal advice that I just made up. Make sure to wear a stringer or the tightest tank top you can find. The goal here is having the edge of the fabric oscillate back and forth over your nipple as you do each rep.
Okay, dude.
This is a great way to naturally increase testosterone production. A shaker cup with your favorite branch chain amino acid.
Wait a minute. Okay, what am I doing here? What am I doing? Let's real quick. I'll be right back. All right, here we are. This is a stringer, as they say. At least I think this is a stringer. All I know is these straps are way too thin for me to ever wear this outside of the house ever. But yeah, if we're on the topic here again, yeah, before I got sick, guys, I was bigger, so this would have been more fun to wear, but here we are.
A shaker cup with your favorite branch chain amino acids.
No.
I don't know what they are, but the more fluorescent the color, the stronger the superpowers you'll get. And lastly, a video camera to record your motivational vlogs.
Oh my gosh.
And I also make sure to have a grapefruit on hand just in case. So the third and final step is proper nutrition, and all food is made of 3 primary macronutrients, which are protein.
Stop.
Anyway, the most important thing is getting sufficient protein, and there's a lot of debate over exactly how much you need, but I like to play it safe and go for 1 chicken breast per pound of body weight. Now, if you're finding it difficult to eat that much, it might be easier to make a protein shake that you can drink instead. I usually go for 2 cups of whole milk, 2 scoops of whey protein, 1.5 bananas, and a picture of Steve Cook. Now, the real key here is nutrient timing to maximize muscle growth, which means it's essential to hit the 35 nanosecond anabolic timing window that occurs immediately after training.
See, this dude, he keeps bringing up things that are like actual valid, legitimate points, but then just giving the complete wrong data. Like eating, like feeding windows, like eating protein at the right times is something that will help maximize your results. It's not entirely necessary. It's not super necessary.
They were super necessary.
Why were they necessary?
What do you mean, why were they not necessary?
But it is a valid thing if you want to absolutely maximize your results. Like when I was in university and I was into bodybuilding, here's a picture. Guys, I'm sorry to throw this in your face. When I was in university and I was into bodybuilding, I was obsessed and I did everything like as perfectly as you can possibly do it. So it would be like, oh, I make sure to get protein like right after the workout, and then I have a big meal like between 1 hour and 2 hours after, and then I blah, blah, blah. Protein in the morning, all this stuff, right? But realistically, you don't need, like, do what feels right for you. One thing that's very important is to, you don't need to get obsessed. And also, don't eat a bunch of unhealthy things just for the sake of gaining weight. Because that's something I did when I was younger, and I felt bad, you know? I would literally, like, eat 3 plain donuts before a workout just to get a bunch of carbs and a bunch of extra calories. Because one thing is that I gain weight very difficultly. It's very hard for me to gain weight. So I had to, like, eat a bunch of junk in order to gain as much weight as possible. But as a result, like, I had really bad acne, my skin was really oily, my body was just not healthy, and I felt bad, brain fog, mental health issues. Like, being healthy is so much more important than being jacked and stuff, you know? So also when he talks about like the branched chain amino acids and the neon color, I'm just like, ugh, whatever that is, it is so artificial and so not meant to go in your stomach. I just think it's so much more important to be healthy than to be muscular, because you can be muscular and be unhealthy. That's what I used to be.
Now, you might not be able to drink your whole shake in this time, so I recommend taking whatever you need and going to the bathroom to get the protein inside you as fast as possible. And that's all there is to it. Now get out there and start your own supplement company. I'm going to call mine Cloud Fitness because that's my goal physique. And for a quick note on that, no matter how long you lift, you'll never actually look how you want to. A lot of people start lifting to get back at an ex after a breakup or to look good on the beach, but sooner or later they all realize that those things don't matter, and their only real shortcoming is still being able to fit through doorways.
Dude. I appreciate the almost sincere part there. I appreciate the half sincerity, but that's true. The reason I started working out at first was because I started dating a girl that I thought was super attractive, and she was in a different grade than me, and I didn't want to be like the little wimp that was dating her and have all the guys from her grade not like me. It came from insecurity for me, but it turned into a healthy thing. And then yeah, when me and that person broke up, I got even super into that's when I got really into bodybuilding, and that like replaced my self-esteem for a while. It was like, oh, it doesn't matter if I'm lacking this and that, and I'm awkward and I'm shy and I'm emotional. As long as my chest is huge, you know, it's very easy to like use it as an unhealthy coping mechanism. Honestly, just keeping yourself healthy and taking care of your mental health and doing general healthy things is so much more important than anything else, people. And I understand that now more than ever, especially after going through my illness and everything I went through. It's like just being healthy, it literally, like, nothing else matters, dude. But anyways, sorry for getting a little serious there. It's fun. I love these topics are so fun. Guys, please let me do this again. Please let me do this again, because this was great. I'm so down to keep going. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. It was definitely a little bit different. I thought it was super fun. Make sure you have booped like on this video. If we get to like 15,000, then I'll probably do another one. Thank you, Casually Explained, for making great stuff. And you need to watch his channel. Here's Casually Explained's channel. If you are not subscribed, make sure you are. Here's the last video that we did. Make sure you have watched it and are caught up. Here's a video that YouTube thinks you will like. Are they right? You let me know. I will see you here, or I will see you there. Let's keep this party going, people. Thank you for spending some time with me today. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.